Cape Town Tourism CEO Enver Damini is joining me in studio now. He's going to let us know what we can expect from tourism this year, moving into high season. Hello.
Hi there, how are you?
Good to see you again.
Good, thank you.
Okay, we're moving into high season. Last year, Cape Town had record-breaking amounts of tourists coming in the summer. Can we expect to break that record this year?
Well, I'm always optimistic. I'm hoping we can break it because that keeps my job safe. But I think importantly for us is that if we look at our forecasted surveys that we run with members this time of year, a lot of them are positive. I think it's about almost 90% of those surveyed over the last week have indicated that they believe that summer this year is either going to be the same or better than last year. And like you said, last year was record-breaking numbers for us, so we're quite optimistic. If we look at their forward bookings, a lot of them have said, yes, it's looking marginally improved. However, we also need to be cognizant of a few challenges, whether it's Ebola, concerns around visas, perception of safety again this time of year, if we see the more robberies happening. So all of these things also have a factor to play, and it's kind of difficult to say whether you are going to hit those numbers. But if I also take a bit of a reflection back to last year when the same question was asked, and when we then did a survey post that question being asked, the industry actually surprised that they outperformed themselves. So yet we are cautiously optimistic as always, but if I look at the increase in the flights that's happening, the one from Doha to Cape Town is going to be flying now 5 times a week as of today. So that shows you that there's an increase from that market. But if I look again back last year this time, is that Virgin Atlantic, they just recently pulled their flight from London. So as much as it's up and down, we believe from our service with the industry that we believe it's going to be a good season.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, I want to talk about some of those challenges. You mentioned Ebola now. We actually don't have Ebola here in South Africa, but it's a common perception globally that because we are on the African continent, maybe someone's going to come close to Ebola. How do you see that affecting tourism if it does at all? Yeah,
well, it has had an impact on tourism, and if I look at it, there's unfortunately the perception, like you said, is that people look at Africa as a country and not as a continent. Most of the key source markets, US, UK, Germany, they are closer to the affected areas than Cape Town is. So I think it's also, if you put it in perspective, and it's going to take a lot of education and awareness through not only Cape Town Tourism, but also through other agencies throughout Africa. But for us, the thing is we have seen there's a big impact as far as travel from our key source markets. So if you look at at the new markets, which is India, China, and they reacted quite quickly to Ebola. Now, China specifically, is because I think a few years ago they had the H1N1.
Right.
And because they've experienced that, you can understand why the government reacts a lot quicker to it to protect the citizens, which is the right thing to do. However, if I look at this time of year, most of the people that come to Cape Town this time of year is from our key source markets, UK, US, Germany. And most of them understand where Cape Town is, its proximity to the other areas that are affected. And they also know what we have here is world class. So in the event something does go wrong, they could feel quite comfortable and safe that we'll be able to take care of them. So for us, we need to look at it in that perspective, is that also the numbers coming from India and China, even though the percentage increase is bigger than, let's say, our key source markets, it's still off a low base. So we're still very much dependent on UK, US, Germany, Netherlands as our bread and butter for season. But also, this time of year is also a local market. So domestic tourism also increases. So that's why I'm quite confident when I sit here and saying, yes, it will have an impact, Ebola, but not to the extent of having an impact this time of year for Cape Town.